Time for SMX Facts. We bring on the staff statistician, the king of the calculator, Clinton Fowler. Of course, we're going to talk Malcolm Stewart's awesome storybook-style win at Tampa. Give us some data and things that we might not have realized with this one, because it certainly felt good. What does the data say?
Yeah, Weege, I mean, obviously a fan favorite win to see Malcolm in his home race get that victory. Couple of really cool stats, I think. By the number of starts, second longest in the history, 109 starts to get to his first one. Of course, your favorite Weege, Justin Brayton, at the top of that list at 131 starts to get to it in that amazing Daytona 2018 win. But it was technically longer for Malcolm to get there in terms of time. But JT, I think maybe even more important is the way he went about winning that. And compared to Chase Sexton, who he was chasing down for the good part of that main event, he was 32 seconds in total faster in just the whoop section. When you look at that, do you think it's going to be required to have a great whoop section for him to repeat this?
Yeah, I think that's the question. Is this a breakthrough? Is this something repeatable? And unless we're going to fundamentally change the way we've moved towards whoops, right? We've had this 9-whoop thing, and guys like Cooper Webb have found ways to rhythm through there. We haven't seen these whoops that are just brutal, and there's these gigantic gaps of time that are able to be made up. So I think it's going to be situational for Malcolm. He certainly gained a lot of confidence. He's going to believe he can do it. But I think unless he has that situation where he gets a start and he has an edge in a set of whoops like that, it's going to be really hard to repeat exactly how this went. I don't think he has the edge on the rest of the racetrack in a fashion to do it. And that's why his results have been on the backside of the top 10 for a while now, is because the rest of the track is not quite as good as it was in the whoops.
So you mentioned it's the longest wait in terms of time. Explain how that mark works and what you're talking about there, and then we can transition to, by the way, at 32 years old, this has to be pretty far up there as far as oldest winners, right?
It is indeed. So in the time, his first race in the 450s was back in 2014 at Daytona. There was some oddness there where was he a full-time rider or not with the team he was on at the time. So it ends up being nearly 12 years, whereas Justin Brayton had more starts, but it was actually only in 10 years. So a little bit of a technicality there. I'm sure JB will love to hear that one. And then to your point, Weege, he's the 5th oldest guy to go out and get this victory, which is just absolutely incredible. He slots in right behind it. You'll, of course, love this. John Dowd, who obviously coming from New England, I'm a big fan. He did that back in 1998. But he's the 5th oldest, but he's not the only oldest guy out there. Max and CJT in the 250s is also the 5th oldest to go out there and win at 31 years, just shy really of 32 years old. An impressive night for him. He goes out fastest qualifier. He wins the heat race and he wins the main event. Kind of like a no-hitter in baseball. I mean, really, really impressive night. Is it something we're going to see more of from Max and CJT?
Well, first, anybody who was racing when I was racing is pretty old. And you couple that with the fact he's racing a 250 still. That's incredible to think about that. But, as far as his performance, I think it's almost the opposite of what we saw from Malcolm. This felt like something he could do more of. Look at his qualifying. He was so quick. In the heat race, he was kind of methodical about how he went about things. In the main event, he just simply looked like the fastest guy. Now, you couple that with this is what we've talked about being such a deep 250 East field. So it's really hard to think he's just going to run away and do this week after week. But it didn't really feel like he did anything outlandish. He really felt like the best guy. He got the starts. He was the best in the whoops. All those things fell into place. So, it wouldn't shock me at all. He was really strong to start off the season in 2024. And here we are again. But he's almost like a better version of that 2024 Max Anstey, which sets up really nicely.
32, even better than 31 is kind of what we're learning here. Each year, these guys seem to get better. We'll see as Max and Malcolm roll on. Good data, Clinton. See you in Detroit.
You got it, Weege.
Well, that's it. I think we've given you everything you could possibly need to know before the Detroit round of Monster Energy Supercross, except when the race takes place and where you can watch it. This is a day race. I cannot stress that enough. This is a day race on Eastern time. So Race Day Live qualifying coverage begins at 9:30 a.m. Eastern, and the racing begins at 3 o'clock Eastern. That's the similar schedule to what we had last year when we went to Detroit, if that makes it any more easily understood. It is a day race. There will be a re-air on Sunday afternoon on NBC, at 2 o'clock Eastern. Of course, you can watch everything live on Peacock and or the SMX Video Pass if you live outside the United States. So that's when, and we know where, and we think we know a lot coming into this race. But if the last 2 weekends have shown us anything, JT, it doesn't matter what we thought we know. It changes in a hurry.
Hi folks, Lee Diffie from NBC Sports here. If you truly enjoyed what you just watched, you can get more news, interviews, and highlights by subscribing to the Motorsports on NBC YouTube page. You can get it all, so go for it.